Residents decry shutdown of 11 Zamfara cattle markets. Soldier kills driver transporting humanitarian goods in Borno State. NIMET issues 3-day weather alerts, cautions airlines. And on the foreign scene, Liberia oil tanker Inferno debt tops 40. Hello and thank you for joining us on Trust News Update. My name is Chiamaka Nendu. Some residents of Zamfara State have kicked against the closure of some cattle market in some parts of the state over banditry. The State Commissioner for Information, Haidara Muni, said on Wednesday that the closure of the market was informed by security reports that bandits were using the market to sell off their rustled cows. He said the state government had directed security agents to ensure compliance and arrest any persons who violated the order. Recall that the former governor of the state, Mohammed Bello Matawale, had said during his time that closed down the market and some cattle markets in the state for similar reasons. However, some residents condemned the closure of the market, lamenting that the move would not only make a difference. According to them, a similar method was applied by the successive government but did not yield any positive result. And earlier, we spoke with Daily Trust Regional Editor Yushau Adamu, I beg your pardon, where he gave an update on the situation.
The development is that residents of the affected areas, where these markets were shut down, have started voicing their grievances against government, because they said this is not the first time government is closing down markets under the banner of ensuring security and what have you. But that did not yield any positive results. The cited example with the previous administration of Mohammed Bello Matawale, whom they said has shut down markets in Mada, then Shibga, Marad, and Ansado, among the others. But that did not stop banditry from the area. They rather said the bandits also changed their tactics, because if government stopped them from going to market and maybe extort people, then they will pay their to the kidnap for ransom. So the argument of the residents is now that government has shut down the market, the bandits will now pay attention to kidnap for ransom. And they are saying that the whole burden will be on them, the residents, because if they were kidnapped or their relations are kidnapped, they have nowhere to take their animals, sell and pay ransom. So the abducted persons should remain under the custody of bandits or be killed by the bandits for failure to pay the ransom. So they said instead of closing down markets, government should devise measures that will end the banditry in their communities, maybe by deploying adequate security to the areas, so that they would have protection to conduct their businesses in the market instead of closing the market in totality.
The Borno State government has asked that the military to ensure speedy justice for National Union of Road Transport Workers driver, which was allegedly killed by a soldier along Gambaro International Road in Borno State. Addressing a press conference, the secretary to the state government, Bukar Tijani, said the excesses of soldiers killing and extorting money from drivers on the roads would not be tolerated. Tijani noted that the state government had engaged the leadership of the military and an investigation launched into the matter. Responding to the governor, the secretary of the NURTW, Ahmed Musa, said the driver was transporting humanitarian goods when the soldier killed him during a stop and search at a checkpoint. And meanwhile, the acting deputy director, Army Public Relations of the 7th Division, Maiduguri, Lieutenant Colonel Ajemusu Jinija, confirmed receiving a complaint on the killing of the truck driver. And survivors of the recent crisis in Bokos and Barakin-Ladi local government areas of Plateau State have been narrating their audio following the attacks that claimed 148 lives with attendant losses of properties. The attacks came at a time when residents of the communities were preparing to celebrate this year's Christmas. Ado Musa, who was among journalists that visited the IDP camp where the victims were sheltered, now reports.
At the Central Stadium, Bokos, where the IDPs are temporarily seeking refuge, there is anger, resentment and depression on the faces of the survivors. Many of them who spoke to Trust TV said they either lost their husbands, children or other loved ones. We are cooking when the government attacked our community. We had to run for our lives. We didn't even know where we were running to. They killed 7 persons in our family. At the moment, I don't know where some of my children and grandchildren are. I was at home when suddenly we started hearing people shouting. Our husbands started running helter-skelter, seeking for refuge. I lost my husband, brothers and children. Our farm produce have been destroyed. The attackers killed a lot of people. They burned our houses and farm produce. We are really in a sorry state right now and calling on government to intervene.
I lost all my people. I lost my family. They burned my family. They burned my children. They burned my husband. They burned everything. Even our work, even our food, they burned it. Even our houses, they burned it. Even our children, they burned it. We lost everything in our family. We don't get anything to say. This country is too hot for us. This country is too hard for us.
For over 2 decades, the state has been battling with ethno-religious crisis that has claimed hundreds of lives. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
The Defense Headquarters has attributed the delayed response from troops during the attacks in Bokos and Barakin-Ladi local government area of Plateau State to the terrain and other factors. The attacks led to the death of 150 people and over 10,000 have been displaced. Amnesty International has called on the authorities to investigate the inability of the security agencies to curb the attacks. According to the country director Issa Sanusi, their investigation showed that armed men operated for more than 48 hours, moving from one village to another. And speaking in an interview on Wednesday, the Director Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, admitted that troops received over 30 distress calls while the attacks were on, while they handicapped by the difficult terrain and other factors. And he also said the manner in which the assailants planned and executed the attacks across the locations made it difficult for the troops to get to the scene of time. And Edward added that the military is rejigging its strategy to ensure speedy intervention in the future. And the federal government has ordered an immediate release of humanitarian relief to communities affected by the recent attacks in Plateau State. The order was contained in a statement issued by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, in Abuja. And while strongly condemning the recent killings in Bokos and Barakin-Ladi local government areas, the federal government, according to the statement, reiterated the commitment of the President Bola Tinubu's administration to ensure every inch of Nigerian territory and ensuring that all forms of criminality by terrorists, bandits and militants are tackled boldly and decisively. And the statement added that the president directed security agencies to ensure that the perpetrators are fished out and brought to justice. It added that at the federal level, all hands are on deck across the security and intelligence agencies to scale up intelligence gathering and crisis response efforts. And the Bauchi State Police Command, in collaboration with Ahmed Ali Kwara's hunters, eliminated 6 suspected bandits terrorizing communities in Ninja local government area. Commissioner of Police Awal Musa disclosed the operations as a response to the brutal killing of 8 people, including the traditional ruler of Kada and Gamji village in July. The joint team engaged the bandits in Gondwell on December the 26th, resulting to the death of 6 of them. Recovered items included 2 AK-47 rifles, 55 live ammunition, empty 4 magazines, 4.5 million naira, 1 Golf 3 vehicle, 7 new SIM cards and 6 keypad phones. And stolen items recovered comprised 11 Android phones, 4 keypad phones, 24 mobile batteries and 190 recharge cards. Preliminary investigation revealed the bandits' involvement in recent invasion and kidnappings. The operation targeted 4 villages where they killed 1 vigilante member and kidnapped 2 wives of the chairman of Kiawa local government area in Jigawa State. And a group known as Take It Back Movement has called on the Nigeria police to make public its findings from the investigation into death of Nigerian musician Irerioluwa Oladimeji Aloba, popularly known as Mohbad. The group also wants the police to protect the rights of the deceased wife and his child. In a statement on Thursday, Take It Back Movement maintained that the continued silence of the force in the case was becoming worrisome as many await the outcome of the investigation. It maintained that despite announcing the completion of the autopsy for the late singer, the Nigerian police has kept mute and is no longer providing information on the case. It therefore called on the police to take note of threats of physical harm against the wife and child of the deceased and bring perpetrators to justice accordingly. And you're watching the news update on Trust TV. Still to come after the break. As energy crisis worsens, environmental degradation continues with growing demand for fuelwood and charcoal. And more news when we return to stay tuned. Welcome back, and you're watching the news update on Trust TV. Here's a recap of the major stories. Residents decry shutdown of 11 Zamfara cattle markets. And soldier kills driver transporting humanitarian goods in Borno State. And moving on now to other stories. In a tragic incident unfolding at the Ezinihite Area Command on Boxing Day, a police officer identified as Cosmas Ugo lost his life to gunshots allegedly fired by his 23-year-old girlfriend, Amanda Uchechi Ugo. The victim attached to the Imo State Police Command was discovered lifeless 3 hours after 3 gunshots echoed from his room during the evening hours. And confirming the incident, the police public relations officer ASP Henry Okoye revealed that the suspect, Amanda Ugo, is currently under police custody. As the investigation unfolds, the police commissioner, Danjuma Boki, has ordered a comprehensive probe into the matter, aiming for possible prosecution. And in Benue State, a state grappling with the relentless impact of climate change, the traditional use of charcoal and firewood is no longer confined to rural settings. Even in urban centers like Makodi, these natural commodities have become indispensable due to soaring kerosene and cooking gas prices. Adding to the predicament, uninformed farming practices contribute significantly to the wanton depletion of tree resources. Jimmy Adzande report.
In Benue State, a confluence of factors, including exorbitant cooking gas prices and a shortage of alternatives, are propelling the daily felling of numerous trees. This large-scale deforestation is casting a shadow over the state, heralding a potential environmental catastrophe. Amidst these challenges, the environmental biodiversity is severely compromised, worsening the impact during both the rainy and dry seasons. Experts expressed concerns about the inadequacy of current efforts by national and state governments to address this escalating ecological crisis.
The more we plant trees, the more we are going to turn this global menace of global warming. So the more the trees, the more the cooler the environment will be. Like I said, they are carbon sinks, so they will help to regulate the microclimate we have.
We're probably not sure what we will eat in the next 3 to 5 years if the trend does not change. So agriculture has to be at the center of it. But in discussing agriculture, every other factor that impacts agriculture needs to be taken into account. That was why we needed to also predict climate change. It's a reality that many of our leaders have avoided. They have avoided. Some of them have refused to see climate change as an issue to take into account.
Some of the economic factors responsible for the continued dissemination of trees remain unaddressed, leading to some counterproductive activities.
There are a lot of trees in farms that make farms to produce less quantity of product. So for them, they remove all those trees to enable them cultivate land so that it will generate or produce a large quantity of yield.
To avoid the impending artificial or man-made environmental disasters, sustained efforts are imperative. Experts unanimously call for increased awareness campaigns, enlightening the populace about the fragile state of our ecosystem. Simultaneously, effective government policies are crucial to curb the unrestrained felling of trees. Without swift and decisive action, the current trajectory poses an imminent threat to the delicate balance of environment. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
And the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has issued a 3-day weather forecast from Thursday to Saturday, predicting moderate to reduced visibility in parts of Nigeria. The development may affect flight operations across the country, as NIMET advised air operators to be cautious of the weather conditions while advising members of the public to take necessary precautions. From Thursday, NIMET said there would be moderate dust haze with horizontal visibility of 2 to 5 kilometers, noting that the localized visibility of less than or equal to 1,000 meters is expected over the northern region. On Friday, the authority stated that there would be moderate dust haze with horizontal visibility of 2 to 5 kilometers, with localized visibility of less than or equal to 1,000 meters, expected over the north and north-central regions throughout the forecast period. It added that moderate dust haze with horizontal visibility of 2 to 5 kilometers is expected over the inland cities of the south and coastal cities during the forecast period. And similar weather condition is expected on Saturday, according to NIMET, with few clouds in hazy atmosphere expected over the coastal cities during the forecast period. And away from Nigeria, the death toll from the oil tanker explosion in central Liberia has risen to more than 40, the country's chief medical officer said on Thursday. The tanker carrying gasoline crashed and tipped into the ditch along the road in Totota Road, about 130 kilometers away from the capital, Monrovia, on Tuesday. President George Weah said his profoundest sympathy to the families of the victims. Another police officer, Malvin Sacco, said after the crash, some locals had begun to collect leaking petrol when the tanker exploded, killing some and wounding others. An eyewitness, Aaron Masaki, told the AFP that people climbed the top of the truck, taking the gas, while some of them had irons hitting the tanker for it to burst for them to get gas. And Liberia's chief medical officer, Dr. Francis Kate, said that dozens had been badly burned. And with that, we've come to the end of News Update on Trust TV. Do well to follow us across all the social media platforms for more news, programs, and documentaries. My name is Chiamaka Nendu. Thank you for watching.